Senator West on Senate Bill 208.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members. Texas is in the middle of a housing affordability crisis. I don't need to tell you all that. This committee, all these committee members understand and appreciate that. Due to the pandemic and other inflationary factors, the prices of homes, construction goods, and services, development fees, as we know about these permitting fees in this committee, utility connections, road development, have all gone up on and on in terms of the cost of housing in this state. According to the housing affordability study conducted by the comptroller, Texas's median home price rose by 40% between 2019 and 2023. And I know there are a lot of developers in here that understand the inflationary costs associated with building homes, yet alone developing the development to build the homes. Senate Bill 208 takes a stab at the crisis by creating the Workforce Housing Capital Investment Fund, aiming to strengthen the Texas middle class, gives economic stability and stimulates job growth. Senate Bill 208, application process and funding will be done as follows. First, the Department of Housing and Community Affairs will, through a competitive procurement fund, find a nonprofit housing organization to serve as the administrator of this fund. Second, the fund will be utilized to disperse zero-interest loans to program participants who will be not-for-profit builders, such as Builders for Hope, Habitat, or Humanity. Third, eligible nonprofit builders will be able to use money from the fund for the development costs associated with creating subdivisions of housing for households earning between 30% and 80% of the area median income. Lastly, expenses would include land acquisition, planning and design costs, impact fees, and permitting fees, flood mitigation, and utility infrastructure. Mr. Chairman, I do have an amendment. How about a substitute?
There is a proposed committee substitute. Senator Middleton sends up committee substitute to Senate Bill 208. Chair recognizes Senator West. Explain the difference between the committee substitute and the bill is filed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It expands the language for those contracting with the department to include nonprofits that affiliate with single-family residential homeowner builders and organizational affiliates that work with homeowners. It makes certain applicants are not requested to have 15 years of experience before they can participate in this particular program.
Questions for Senator West? And this was originally anticipated to be like a $50 million fund, Senator West?
I think it ultimately, hopefully, it will be.
Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna try, don't let me get on the soapbox, but the reality is
You have 17 minutes. You can take one.
Okay.
Okay. That's right.
Thank you very much, and I'll just take that one. We know that we have a housing crisis in the state of Texas, and we've got to make certain that we provide for the future housing needs. This fund will enable us to do that. As we've done with energy, as we've done with a whole host of funds we've created, we need to make certain that builders have the support that's needed in order to prepare for the future. That's what this bill does.
All right. Well, speaking of the aforementioned builders and names, we have 5 witnesses on this.
Mr. Chair.
All in favor? Yes, Senator Paxton?
Can I ask a question of the
You may.
Thank you, Senator West. You mentioned, I think the last bullet point was the years of experience
Right.
in the committee sub. So that the committee sub has, what's the requirement?
You don't have to have 15 years of experience.
So the original bill was 15 years, I guess, and then it removes that. So what was the rationale for that change?
The rationale for the change is that we want to make certain, first of all, this program is going to be administered over at the department. We'll have an administrator. We want to get builders in that can be creative in terms of making certain that we address these housing issues.
So to open it up to more
up.
folks?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman Betancourt and committee members, thank you. My name is Vicki Johnson. I serve as the Executive Director of Montgomery County Habitat for Humanity in Senator Betancourt's own Senate District 7. I'm here today in strong support of Senate Bill 208, which would establish a revolving loan fund to help organizations like mine advance affordable homeownership in Texas. This legislation holds immense promise for our state's economic vitality and hardworking families who call Texas home. Recently, my organization was gifted 81 acres of land in Magnolia, also in the Senator's District. It was an incredible, generous gift and holds the promise of 200-plus homes for hardworking Texas families. As we complete a 37-acre community with 129 homes in Conroe, it was beyond belief how we could accomplish building another community without adequate capital and beyond traditional fundraising. The roads, water, site prep all require upfront investments, and in rural communities, that kind of funding isn't available. Access to capital for us translates directly into construction projects, creating jobs for Montgomery County residents, and in building trades and related industries. Furthermore, the creation of new affordable housing spurs demands for local businesses. This ripple effect strengthens our tax base, fuels economic growth right here in Texas. In Montgomery County, for every dollar we spend at Habitat for Humanity, it generates $1.62 into our economy. We've actually, in 2022, invested $4 million into our local economy in Montgomery County. Finally, Senate Bill 208 offers a practical and impactful solution to a pressing need. It aligns with our Texas values of hard work, opportunity, and economic prosperity. By providing access to critical capital, we're not just building houses, we're building stronger communities, and a stronger Texas economy for all. I urge you to support Senate Bill 208 and invest in a brighter future for our state. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Senator Paxton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for being here. And of course, Habitat for Humanity is well known for its integrity and its just great work. And I appreciate what they have done for so many families. I'm curious, in the project that you're talking about, did Habitat actually, or if this may be ongoing, I'm not sure, but is the whole development that you're doing, including the infrastructure, as opposed to my picture has been, and this may be an old picture, that Habitat typically is just on just homes, right? Not the whole development. Is that something different in this project?
Yeah, from county to county across the country, across the world, we all do it a little bit differently. Some do infill lots, and then some organizations like mine have been gifted beautiful land.
Right.
So donors have, the 37-acre community we're currently building in Conroe was a gift to us, a partial gift to us, which will have 129 homes and we'll finish up next year. And the 81 acres of land was donated by a local family in Magnolia. And that's 81 acres and 200-plus homes. So from county to county across the nation, it's a little bit different for every organization.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So typically, you address the need of building a home with fundraising, and
right.
You'll continue doing that. But
Yes,
what you're saying is you have the opportunity with land that's been donated, you can actually go in and develop a community or a neighborhood. But that does obviously require a lot more than just building a home.
Absolutely. On the nonprofit side, I mean, diversifying how we creatively get revenue, capital to build, it's critically important. So it's beyond traditional fundraising, why this bill is so incredibly important. And of course, going to a traditional lender, it's just not the best for a nonprofit developer. And so we need support like this for future developments. And we're so blessed to have this land so we can do this work.
Well, I agree with that, and we're blessed to have an organization like Habitat for Humanity doing the work in this space. And thank you for making time to come and testify this morning on Senator West bill. And thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Vicki, fascinating subject, but we're short on time. Is there any help is this land in the city of Magnolia? It's obviously in Montgomery County. Is it in a MUD?
Unincorporated.
It's unincorporated? Mm-hmm. You know if there's a MUD district in that area yet or not?
No, it's not. We'll have to do our own water and sewer.
Okay, no, I was trying to understand who might be out there to help you already, okay? All right, so thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
All right, Daniel.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. I'm in favor of SB208. My name is Daniel Elkins. I serve as the Director of Policy for Come Dream, Come Build, CDCB, located in Brownsville, Texas. We are one of the largest nonprofit developers of affordable housing in the state, working for over 50 years to create wealth via home ownership for low and moderate income families in the Rio Grande Valley. As a developer, we are in strong support of Senate Bill 208 because it creates for Texas one of the most powerful tools in our industry, which is a revolving loan fund that deploys cheap and flexible capital to projects that need it the most. Oftentimes, those initial dollars for land development costs are hard to come by, and this is especially true in many of the rural areas that we serve. Providing nonprofit developers another tool in the toolbox to jumpstart home construction is invaluable, especially as we've seen pullback from federal support in this realm, as well as a pullback in philanthropic dollars. And let's be clear, for the state of Texas, it's a smart investment. Revolving loan funds maximize every public dollar by recycling repayments into new projects, multiplying the reach and impact of that initial investment. SB 208 means more homes on the ground faster. That's jobs for local contractors, an increased tax base for local governments, and more homeowners propping up local economies. Each home sale generates over $114,000 in trickle-down economic activity. Plain and simple, housing development is economic development in its most sustainable form. The return on investment for our state and our people is really undeniable, and so we really hope that you can support SB 208. Chair, Senators, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions? Thank you.
I am Charles Coates. I am representing Bryan College Station Habitat for Humanity, and really want to thank you all for hearing us today. I'm in strong support of SB 208. I help manage a nonprofit in Bryan College Station for a number of years, and what we've seen over the years is it has become clearer and clearer that it's more and more difficult and expensive to develop, especially subdivisions in the state of Texas, and ours is is one of those examples. And we also are developing several subdivisions within the city of Bryan. What I wanted to say to you today is that ultimately what it comes down to is the Habitat for Humanity model has functioned incredibly well in terms of fundraising for a family. You've got a certain family who's in need, and you can fundraise for that. And we have a very generous community, and we're thankful for that. Where it's a lot more difficult is that if you try to fundraise for a sewer or a street lamp or a street, that is where it gets more difficult, and that's where we think that SB 208 could really be instrumental for the cause of building more starter homes within not only the city of Bryan, but the state of Texas. Another thing I wanted to point out, and I handed it to the clerk, we recently saw a huge support from the Texas A&M student group, Aggie Habitat, and we have almost 100 signatures in support of this same bill. We're really proud of that. We're very thankful to the students for coming out and supporting it, because they also know that at the end of the day, they may be looking at, after graduation, being unable to afford to buy a home too. This is not just a, quote, low-income issue anymore. This is a broad issue, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Charles. The Aggies have been victim of a rather draconian city policy on housing affordability, and we've had all the past and present student body presidents in here, and a bill has flown out of the Senate to the House as a result. So I'm glad to hear they're taking that to another level and helping you guys out. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, because they do understand that issue now.
Correct.
All right, Felicity, state your name, who you represent.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Chair Betancourt. Committee members Felicity Maxwell with Texans for Housing. Proud to be here with one of my board members this morning in support of SB 208. Texas is in the middle of a population boom that could push the state past 40 million residents by 2040. And we know companies want to come and take part of the Texas miracle, but we need to make room for the workers that they bring. We support SB 208 because creating a revolving state housing fund supports nonprofit developers in building homes for Texans earning between 30 and 80% area median income. And that's roughly $35,000 to $93,000 a year for a family of 4. So a specific targeted population. We really think that this is critical at this time because proposed cuts at the federal level could threaten the funding streams that generally support these types of efforts. So putting $500 million into a surplus fund in that revolving loan fund allows us to have that ongoing benefit and helps the state to become more self-sustaining in building these types of developments. We believe that this is the right step forward to support our growing population. Thank you.
Any questions for the witnesses? Thank you for your testimony. Thank you. LaVonda?
My name is Dr. LaVonda Loney, and I am a public high school associate principal, a board member of the Fort Cavazos Area Habitat for Humanity, and a TPI fellow. I'm here in strong support of Senate Bill 208 because I've seen firsthand how home ownership transforms lives, especially the lives of children. 3 years ago, a student in my former district moved from homelessness into a Habitat home. Today, she's thriving. She's in the Junior National Honor Society and recently won a local Miss Colleen competition. That kind of transformation doesn't come from a textbook. It comes from the stability and safety of having a home. That's why I joined the Habitat Board, and it is full circle. As an educator, I see the effects of housing instability every day: absenteeism, behavior issues, and learning gaps. When a child doesn't know where they will sleep at night, school just isn't a priority for them. But when families are stable, when they can stay in one home and in one school, we see improvements across the board: better attendance, better academic outcomes, and healthier classrooms. And the first impact is clear. When students are in crisis, school spends more on staff time, outreach, and support services. Stable home ownership helps us to achieve better results at a lower cost. Plus, when families become homeowners, our tax base expands. That allows for local investments without raising tax rates, especially critical and fast-growing districts like mine in Central Texas. Senate Bill 208 supports the kind of long-term stability that helps families, students, and entire communities. I respectfully urge your support. Thank you.
Doctor, your prescription is correct, okay? Stable home ownership means a lot of good things, and that's what this committee's been about all session. From homestead exemptions to housing affordability, et cetera. So thanks for your testimony.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, let me just say, and it's not a partisan issue, this is a bipartisan issue right here.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
And he just brought in Vicki as a ringer from my home. Okay, y'all are free to move about the Capitol. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on or against committee substitute Senate Bill 208? Hearing none.
It's only two bills.
Committee substitute Senate Bill 208 will be left pending.